What is going on, guys? JPBoy9210 here, and I decided before I do this NXT review and watch NXT, I might as well do a craft beer review. I mean, I usually have a couple beers when I watch wrestling, especially Monday Night Raw, because we all know sometimes you need a couple beers to get through that shit. 3 hours of crap with 5 minutes of wrestling. So tonight I wanted to basically pick a really good beer for my first review, and I'm lucky that I have one of my favorite beers already in my fridge. So today we're going to be looking at Ballast Point Sculpin. Let me get that here. Ballast Point Sculpin. If you're a craft beer connoisseur, then you've already most likely had this beer. And if you do, then there's no need to look any further. This beer, though, I will say is probably the most well-balanced West Coast IPA I've ever had. You know, I love West Coast beers that have a lot of grapefruit and pineapple, and I'm not really a big fan of malt. The most malt I can handle is probably Dogfish Head. Dogfish Head's good, but it is on more the malty side. But this beer, I'm telling you, it is just packed full of hops. It has no maltiness whatsoever. The pineapple and the grapefruit and the papaya and the mangoes and the breadcrumb and like the yeast, just it's so well balanced. So these guys, I believe, I know they're from California. They are from San Diego, and this beer is 7%. So everybody who's drinking this, if you drink, more than two, if you drink 3 or 4 of these, be careful if you're driving. Definitely something, because you don't want to mess with that. But yeah, I mean, this beer is the pinnacle, I would say, of just a well-balanced West Coast IPA beer. And if you're like me, if you're a hophead and you're not a big fan of the malts, then this is definitely the beer to go to. And every time I drink my beer, I always like to put it in a glass. I will drink it out of the bottles or the cans preferably. Canned beer is just so much better, especially unfiltered. You get that taste, and it's beautiful. But yeah, so I like to use my snifter. Always does wonders. So let's pop her open and see how she goes. And I'm not pouring it perfectly right now, so deal with it. Oh yeah, look at that. Well balanced, light color. Look at the head on that. It's about a finger and a half, less than 2 of my fingers of head. Great looking beer, I swear, not too light. It doesn't have that copper look to it, which I personally am not a big fan of. So, yeah, let's get a little smell on this. Oh, automatically just pineapple, mangoes, a little tangerine, but what I like, and not a lot of people understand, is I like this breadcrumb. This breadcrumb yeast just makes this beer, I think, honestly, what makes it well balanced, It's just a well balanced, perfect beer. And I think that really adds on to it. So let's get a taste and see how she is. So good. So good. I haven't had beer in a while, so excuse me. But yeah, that is some terrific beer. I mean, from the taste, I am automatically getting more mangoes and more of a pineapple. Not much of a grapefruit, but grapefruit can be it could coat a lot of the good flavors, honestly, and it could be too overwhelming. So I really like that this beer doesn't have a lot of grapefruit in it. Beautiful, beautiful beer. Now, what I will say is that this beer is expensive, though. When you go to the store to get this beer, it is usually about $14 or $15.99. So almost $20 for a 6-pack is just an unbelievably overcharged amount of money. But if you're someone where, you go to the store and you just want a really good go-to beer, for the night, and you got a couple extra dollars to spare, it is worth it. I mean, I buy this beer probably about, 2-3 times a month. Not a lot, because it's expensive. But every time I get this beer, I'm always satisfied. You know, I'm never disappointed. Um, I know they have the pineapple and the grapefruit versions of this beer, which I will probably do a review on in the future. But honestly, this one's probably the best. The pineapple and the grapefruit is good, but it just takes away all the hops and the different flavors and aromas. And because, I like the yeast, I like the breadcrumby taste to it, this beer to me is just a whole lot better. But if you're looking for more of a power to a beer, then I would recommend getting the pineapple or the grapefruit. But if you're someone where you like a hoppy, well balanced beer, then ladies and gentlemen, this is definitely the beer to go to. So yeah, I mean that was my first review. But you guys let me know what beers you guys want me to review, and I will be happy to go out and get it and give you guys my honest opinion. Um, just don't, just, I would prefer don't ask for the beers, like Coors Light and other regular things. This is a craft beer thing, and I respect that. So if it's a craft beer that I'm like, I don't care. I'll go out and I'll get it, and I'll do this for you guys. So that is your Sculpin review. Out of 10, I would absolutely, without a doubt, give this a 9. This is easily a 9 out of 10, one of the top best beers you can get. Good, well-balanced beer. A lot of people like the West Coast IPA by Green Flash, which is probably my favorite brewery, honestly. But this beer I buy this beer a lot more. I drink this beer a lot more. And I don't know if it's because it's lower in alcohol percentage or if it's just that it's more well balanced. It's one of those. But honestly, I would recommend this beer over the West Coast. And I would also recommend this beer higher than maybe Firestone Walker or a lot of the other companies, especially around California that can do West Coast, that are really good at that. So this is my review, guys. I'm gonna go have, a couple more of these, not too much, and watch NXT, and then I'll have your review later out for tonight. So until then, guys, this is JP Boy 9210. Have a good night. I'm sure I will. Go NXT.